600 miles off the coast of Ecuador, west of where nothing should be, everything comes together. Tectonic plates, oceanic currents, Darwin's theory of evolution, the perfect storm of ecotourism and eager nature lovers. The Galapagos archipelago is billed as one of the wonders of the natural world, and it lives up to the hype because it's unique and remote and yet impossibly approachable. But had you told me 6 months ago that I'd walk where Darwin walked, 3,100 miles due south of Eau Claire, Wisconsin, I'd have marked you 1,000 miles off course, like some of the sailors who first landed there. On first impression, Fray Tomás de Balanga, spiritual head of all the known and unknown Spanish territories in the Americas, and one of the earliest of European explorers of the Galapagos, thought the island chain hell on earth. Parched and desperate, he described it as, quote, as though God had sometimes showered stones, and the earth there is worthless because it has not even the power of raising a little grass, end quote. Today, tourists think it worth the steep cost to linger for a few hours each on a handful of its 59 lava-lacquered islands. They arrive by planes and permitted cruise ships, by beach landings and rubber rafts called zodiacs. How I got to Galapagos is a story in personal evolution. 3 parts Darwin, 1 part Melville, and a pinch of Crusoe. So how did a Wisconsin farm boy end up living on a boat for 3 weeks in the equatorial Pacific? Well, one day last October, I ran into a friend at the post office. Wait, or was it the grocery store? No, hold on, it was at the farmer's market.
Oh, hey Steve. Say, are you interested in working on a ship in the Pacific Ocean?
He was talking about a 3-week job opening with National Geographic Lindblad Expeditions in the Galapagos Islands.
Sure.
Like that's ever going to happen. I'm 60 years old and employed full-time as a TV journalist in Eau Claire, Wisconsin. I speak sputtering Spanish, had never been to South America or slept on a boat, and I get seasick in a bathtub. I went home and forgot all about it. Months later, I think it was January, the phone rang.
Hi Steve, it's me. Remember when I talked to you about working on a ship in Galapagos?
Yeah?
Are you still interested?
Yes?
Great. How does March look?
I'm a busy guy, with enough projects to keep me scared straight about deadlines. The chances of having a full month open during the hectic spring were equal to those of the Milwaukee Brewers winning this year's World Series. I flipped open the calendar and found it clear as the equatorial Pacific. Well, I thought, there's still the matter of my current employer. Even if Geographic Lindblad offers me the job, there's no way my boss will allow me a month leave of absence. He would tell me it was time to choose. My boss, Dick.
Yes. Wait, what? Sounds like a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. I think you can do this if you work your tail off before you leave. Do you need a grip?
There'd be plenty of that, working my tail off. After 20 hours of interviews, including editing together a trial video, they offered me the position. I locked in the airfare, Eau Claire to Guayaquil, Ecuador, and jumped off the edge of planet Midwest. 3,100 miles is a long way from home, another world away. Bienvenido a mi mundo. Steve Betchkel, CBC TV.
Here, and I'm going to recompose. I locked the subject, it's already in focus, and then I recompose. Instead of the center of the frame, I put it on the right side of the frame. I'm going to go.
Right-footed kicker, balls in the air, end over end. It'll be taken by Moore at his own 10-yard line, works out to the right side, past the 20-yard line, wrapped up and tackled right around the 22-yard line. I'm Scott Montesano, welcoming you into our coverage of Blue Gold football on Blue Gold Radio 99.9.
I've been with the Blue Gold since the start of this season.
Just anyway, happy to have you along with us.
I've been doing this profession for about 20 years total.
Blue Gold's trying to upset the number 10 ranked Platte Hill Pioneers.
Like everybody, I played sports growing up, and you kind of realize when you're 10, 11, 12, you're too fat, you're too slow to do it. But I like to talk a lot.
Scott Montesano likes to hear himself talk.
Now tucks there, he's under heavy pressure in the backfield, now runs upfield, got some positive yards, past the 35.
But not as much as you do.
He was able to wiggle his way through all that traffic like he was getting to the front of a busy deli counter.
So I realized when I was about 13, 14 years of age in Utica, New York, this is what I wanted to do.
His Blue Gold play-by-play
Oh, he's hit head over tea kettle at the line of scrimmage.
is savory as Grandma's Italian cooking.
He's sacked back on his side of the 50-yard line. Victor Martinelli comes on through. Oh, he was moving moving with the quickness as though he saw the last slice of pizza in the box and wanted to make sure nobody else got it.
He loves to dish spicy analogies.
I like to call them the oregano that gets thrown on top of pasta.
Enjoy all you like.
If the Blugolds are to pull this off today, they have to be perfect.
He'll cook up more.
It's like taking your driver's exam. They won't just give you the driver's license, you gotta be perfect.
I'm thinking maybe something funny I heard throughout the course of the week, and how can I work that into a broadcast, a story, if there's a weird analogy or a metaphor that I can throw out there.
Whenever you're running, Prairie is just great at grabbing you with the ankles.
There is part of this that is a little bit like a stand-up comedic routine.
Have you heard the one about hands-on Halloween?
He's like, if you're walking through a cemetery on Halloween and the dead have risen up through the caskets and are grabbing at you from the soil.
You keep thinking of different ways to describe the same play over and over again.
Analogy is the art of creative comparison.
He's blown up in the backfield! Oh, the Blugolds all over him like ice cream melting on fresh apple pie.
It's like setting the dinner table.
Platteville has won every meeting between these teams, starting with the 2010 matchup.
For an entire football team.
The last time the Blugolds defeated Platteville, it was October 2009.
Toss an extra-large pizza.
Twitter was in its infancy. Facebook was used just to post photos from the party the night before.
Bake the
A lot
pizza,
has changed since 2009.
but don't skimp on the pepperoni.
Pizza is good with just plain cheese and sauce, but hey, sometimes you want toppings.
A good sports announcer has to sell sound.
Got the ball, and like a snake maneuvering away from the pitchfork, was able to get his way up that sideline.
And he has to sound like he's having fun.
This is the candy store for everybody, okay? And you're like the Muzak in the candy store.
At 1 and 5, Blugolds football has not been sweetness and violins.
Oh, like a semi plowing into a Ford Focus on Highway 53.
But Montesano's got a winner for that.
Edie's going to be blown up in the backfield and sacked all the way back to the 35-yard line. Oh, coming on through and taking all the Christmas presents from underneath the tree. And getting that big sack was Victor Martinelli.
If there's a great dramatic game or the team's winning a lot of games, your job's really easy. Are you able to keep people entertained and make people still want to listen if the team is losing or if the game is bad?
That's like broad combo inside of his own 30. You know who made the tackle? I'll give you 3 guesses. The first 2 don't count. Victor Martinelli.
I want people, when they tune in, to invite me into their homes, into their cars, into their most intimate places, if you will, for 3 hours.
That's sweet as fennel sausage and sliced peppers.
Edie takes the snap, rolls out to his left, looking, throws it deep.
That's like intercepting the opposing quarterback at the goal line
Intercepted at the 10-yard line.
to win the Super Bowl.
This one by Drew Hurley.
Or at least make it to halftime.
That's how the first half will come to an end.
Steve Batchko, CVC TV.
Thought we had him.
It's what any of us, young or old, might call a perfect summer day. Mostly sunny, 75 degrees with a keep cool breeze, and in every neighborhood, city parks filled with questions. Is it still a swing if it's not swung? Does grass grow in the cracks between many moving feet? Where are all the kids?
Today, I don't know. They might be still at the swimming pool. Maybe not today so much, but why there's nobody here, I'm not sure.
For the sake of social experiment, I picked a sunshiny day with low humidity and no bugs during summer vacation, and in the fattest 4 hours of a lovely afternoon, from 1:30 to 5:30 p.m., I visited 20 of Eau Claire's parks, at each of them counting the number of children present or absent.
I don't know why there's nobody out there now, but there's always kids. Well, the hockey in the winter, and then we've got soccer and softball. The basketball court was a big improvement. I know the kids play on the swing sets and stuff, so it surprises me. I mean, I've lived in this house for 36 years, and there's almost always somebody in the parks.
At Sam Davy, there's a hole in the sky where a basketball once filled a hoop. At Kessler Field, crickets, not kids. The ball game here was canceled due to sun. Do kids even play baseball anymore? Do children play outside anymore?
We were in town for the day and it ended up being really nice, so we decided to come here. We have to work to get some of our friends to want to bring their kids outside. We live out in the country, and so our child is outside all the time. We've got a creek in the winter. We have an ice rink. A lot of his friends tend to just play video games and are inside a lot, and so when they're with us, we try to keep them outside, and they love it.
At Longfellow, I found 2 boys and a football. Finally.
This is my first time coming here, and I go here like every day. I play either football or play with my cousins and brothers over there on the playground. I was down here earlier today, and I was playing a game of football with some of my other friends. And 2 days ago, we were playing a football game of 7-on-7.
That still happens.
Yeah.
To get all the facts on what's happening out here, I'd have to go in there, where the video gaming lives.
There's a lot more electronics, there's a lot more to do nowadays in Eau Claire than it was, 25, 30 years ago when I was a kid. Our parents kicked us out. They said, you're not going to be in the house all day, you're going to be finding something to do.
40 years ago, that was probably the only thing to do was go outside. I know as a kid, we had 3 TV channels. That was about it. Maybe a book or 2 on the shelf, but we played outside nonstop.
Whether parent or child, someone has to physically push the play button.
We were just hanging out in the driveway and Mallory wanted to go to the park, so we just rode our bikes over to the park. I'm pretty old school and not really a fan of electronic devices. I'd like to keep them away from them as long as possible.
To us, it's more important to be out experiencing the world than staring at your phone or iPad all day long.
Ultimately, it's children who will choose between a fistful of flashing lights or fresh air.
From when they were infants, all of their toys have lights and sounds and interact with them, and they don't go outside as much. And when we were kids, we were sent outside and told to come home when it got dark. Well, I can't say if it's better or worse. It's different. It's what their reality is. I think as parents, you have to try harder to get your kids outside so that they know what to do and how to entertain themselves when they are outside. It's just what their world is. So we have to work to balance that with non-electronic time.
Yep, even my brother, he's on it right now.
What's he missing?
A good day outside.
Time to tally the totals. 20 well-kept parks primed and ready for action, 24 children in a city of 65,000. That's 1.2 kids per playground. You can't push the roundabout and ride it with 1.2 kids. You can't play catch with 1.2 kids. You can't play with 0.2 kids.
You probably picked a pretty bad day to be looking at all the parks.
Mostly sunny, 75 degrees with a keep cool breeze. Next stop, the mall. Steve Betchkel, CVC TV.